Hi, this is Evan from Dgit, and this week I've been playing video games with the Apple TV 4K. First off, I'm going to tell you if it's worth its salt as a video game console, and then I'll tell you which games I enjoyed the most. Okay, straight off, Apple TV is not competing with the major game consoles like Xbox and PlayStation. The games from the big dogs are just in a totally different league than what you're going to find on Apple TV. However, because the Apple TV supports new game controllers like the SteelSeries Nimbus I'm holding here, it opens the door for serious gamers to use a controller they're comfortable with instead of the Apple TV remote. Just to be clear, almost all the games on the Apple TV App Store work using just the remote. In fact, the motion control built into the Apple TV remote actually makes the driving games a totally different experience. But again, if you're used to using a controller like this, you're going to have a better time playing games on the Apple TV. Not only because the controls will be more intuitive, but because you'll have less of a chance of hitting something like the microphone button or the TV button, which will take you out of the game. If you're not a serious gamer, then the best reason to buy a controller like this is because it opens up multiplayer options on some of the games. So if you're looking at all the games available on Apple TV, a lot of them probably seem pretty familiar. They're the same ones that you'd find on the Apple mobile marketplaces, except they've been modified to work with the Apple TV remote. And just like their mobile counterparts, these apps have all those microtransactions and currencies and check-in bonuses and stuff I really don't like because they just get in the way of the actual game. $75 for the decal pack. It's decals for these cars. What? If you end up downloading Apple TV games that have iPhone and iPad versions, they'll be automatically downloaded to the devices with the same account information. However, there isn't a simple way to sync your game progress across those devices, so don't expect to pick up on the same level you left off on your Apple TV on your iPhone. So I picked two favorites out of the games I've played, one free, one paid. Before I get to those, I'm going to run down a few of the honorable mentions. Dan the Man. So I like this game. It was very simple to play. I like these graphics. It's kind of like Super Mario Bros. 3 meets like Street Fighter. And this one is one of those ones that I really like using the controller for, just because using like the left and right, and the buttons to jump makes a lot more sense to me than trying to like use this remote to swipe left and right and then click the jump. It's just a little harder to control. After the End, Forsaken Destiny. This is one that has the Siri remote enabled, but really it's meant to be played with this Nimbus controller. A lot of the game is about like turning your perspective and seeing things from different ways. As far as the games that I played, this is one of the more enjoyable ones and really feels well thought out. Asphalt 8. So Asphalt 8 isn't exactly a new game. It's kind of been around for a while, this straightforward racing game, but it looks really good on the Apple TV 4K. My favorite part of this game is actually just getting in the car wrecks because I love like the slow motion and the way the glass breaks. So like this, it's like right into the wall. Look at that. Just Dance Now. Now this game is really more fun if you have people to play with, but if you're looking for a little workout with your games, this one's actually pretty fun. I liked that this one didn't require you to have extra controllers. You just needed people to use their phones. So they can go up and take a picture of the QR code in the corner of the screen, or they can type in the room number and they can join right in. Okay, so my favorite free game was this one called Skyforce Reloaded. This was the most addicting game that I played out of all the ones on the Apple TV. And I frankly think it looks the best of all the ones I played too. It just looks really smooth, the graphics render really nicely, and it's fun to play with other people. Even though we're not looking at each other, I still feel like we're bonding, So my favorite Apple TV paid game was Transistor. This game has a really cool story. It doesn't really tell you a lot. It draws you in, you start asking questions, and there's this narrator voice that is like the sword that you're using. So the music in this game, Transistor, is one of my favorite things. I really like this technique where you pause time. You kind of hear her humming, which is part of this storyline of the game. And then you go around and you actually like place your attacks and then hit a button and execute them all at once. So instead of just being a straightforward game where you go and hack and slash your way through, there's definitely an element of strategy that I haven't seen in games like this before. And I'm really intrigued to actually complete this one and beat this game. So right now, the Apple TV doesn't deserve any attention from serious gamers. But for kids and casual players, the Apple TV games are pretty fun. The Apple TV could become a serious game console in the future, but I think they're going to need something like what Xbox had with the original Halo, like a flagship title that's going to be a signal to serious gamers that Apple TV is a serious console. Alright, thanks for watching this review. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more smart home content from Dgit.